And we're live once again on Sunday. Welcome, everyone. I see we've got Art Blade is here. Brandon Parker says he just finished the Rogue Star series. Great series. Thanks very much. Glad you enjoyed it. Darwin Dominguez is here. Greetings. Welcome. Hello. Good to see everybody's here today. I hope you guys all had a great week. Miss Evans Zero is here. Diogenes of Sinop is here. Hello. Claire Weya, I hope I said that right. Hello, welcome. Good to see you all. So, Ian Creech is here. Hello, welcome. Great to see you. Glad you could make it. Wow, 16 watching already. Excellent. Claire says, waha. Okay, thank you. I wasn't at all sure on that one, but good to know. I appreciate it. Anybody else going to say hi? Doesn't look like it. So I jumped into a new Vampire Hunter D novel. It's quite good. But as I read it, I can't help wondering if the guy that wrote it isn't a fan of Jack Reacher, because the two characters have a lot in common. Miss Evans Zero, all the way from South Africa. Wow, that's cool. I don't think I've had anyone from South Africa stop in yet. So welcome. Glad you could make it. Do we have any other people stopping in from a long ways away? Let me know in the chat. It's always cool to hear where you guys are coming from. Darwin Mingan says, I started listening to the Warcraft lore books. Really cool so far. Yeah, I read a bunch of the World of Warcraft novels, and I enjoyed all of them. Claire Waha says, we're in Atlanta, Georgia. I've got family near Atlanta. They're about 45 minutes west of you guys. Peter Barnett says, hello from Kent, England. Wow. That's quite a ways away, too. Thanks so much for stopping in. Darwin says Denver, Colorado. All right. Liat says, hi from Boston. Wow. We're practically neighbors. You're only about 2 hours away from me. Claire says, awesome. Brandon Parker says, I'm in Australia. Well, so far, Brandon, you're winning for farthest away. One of my favorite things, I love hearing what people do for a living, and I love hearing where they live. It's always fascinating to me, no matter, how far off or in different countries everyone is. We all enjoy a good story. So that's very interesting. Thank you very much for sharing. Liat says, where are you? I'm in the Adirondacks of northern New York. People say upstate, but what they really mean is just anything north of New York City, but we're really upstate. We're actually closer to Canada than we are New York City. Peter Barnett says, just a quick walk down the road. Darwin says, any updates on your writing? The new series, the new fantasy series, my narrator started on book 3 this week. That's the one that's going to launch in January. And I am sneaking up on 40,000 words into the first book of the new fantasy trilogy I'm writing that's set in Colt's Land in the Portal Wars world. So lots going on, just nothing actually finished at the moment. Queen Hamadaya says, I'm in Northern Virginia. Very cool. Yeah, the writing's going good, actually. I've been putting, except for the last yesterday and one day, other day this week, I've been doing 7 pages a day, which is quite good for me. So I'm on making good progress on this book. Aaron says, awesome. Can't wait to listen more. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to say second or third week in January, I'll have some new audiobooks ready for you guys. When is the trilogy coming out? I'm not sure. Either late next year or it'll be the first part of 2024. I'm not sure. Depends how long it takes both to finish it, get the editing done, and get the narration done. So Logan GRMNR, and I have no idea how to say that last bit, but hi from Florida. Glad I can make it. Yes, I'm glad you could make it. Thanks very much for stopping in. Darwin says, do you ever get stuck writing a book? If so, do you leave it for a while or forced to continue? I very rarely get stuck. And if I do, I'll just take a break, go for a walk, or, do something else for a little while. And that's usually enough to get me unstuck. I very rarely get stuck for like a long time. Queen Hamadai says, love the fantasy. Yep, that's great. I'll have lots more fantasy next year. Probably 5 or 6 books. But I'm only in book 2 of the Portal Wars series. Well, you got a long way to go then, because there's another 5 after that. Pablo Esalvos says, hi, James. Since these streams become a weekly routine, it would be nice to hear some news from your side. Not necessarily about the books, but about the things surrounding you or important for you. I mostly work, and I've been playing twice a week. I've been playing pickleball, and my current dilemma is finding a place to play this winter when it snows and we can't play outside anymore. But yeah, that's my aunt came up today and we had breakfast together at the local cafe, and that was nice. Diogenes of Snope says 7 pages a day is crazy good. That's pretty good. There are a lot of indie authors who write a lot faster than I do. Some of them write, 10, 12, 15 pages a day with no problem. I find after 7 or 8 pages, my brain starts to fizzle, and I just can't, come up with the next word. So I just stop rather than trying to force it. Flying Potato 1 says, greetings from Germany. Hello. Great. Glad you could stop by. Good to see you. Flying Potato 1 says, thank you for your books. Really enjoying them. Any chance we can read more from Otto Schenk and the Coltsland books? There's a prequel novella that'll come out before the trilogy that has Otto a little bit and kind of catches you up and sets you up for book 8, which I'm planning on writing later. But he won't be in the main trilogy. It's set on the other continent. So Pablo Esco says, what is pickleball? It's pickleball, not pickleball. It's sort of like tennis, only the court is smaller, and you play with a paddle and a wiffle ball rather than a tennis ball. It's sort of like tennis and ping pong had a baby. That would be pickleball. You can find it on YouTube. I've been watching a lot of it lately. It's really fast paced and a lot of fun to watch. Julie Slater says, I got the bones started on your fan art. That's great. I can't wait to see it, Julie. Thank you. Peter Barnett says, he has an idea on fantasy called The Revolving Door at number 10 Downing Street. Haha. I love your writing. It takes me away from everyday work. Yeah. I wish that was a fantasy. It seems like things aren't going so great over in your neck of the woods just lately. Rurakar says, hi, James. Hope you're having a good weekend. I am, actually. I played 5 games of pickleball yesterday, and I won 2, which is actually pretty good for me. Julie says, let me see if I can post it somewhere. You can email it to me if you want, and I can try and share it on the stream when it's ready. Claire says, perfect analogy of pickleball. Spot on. Yep. Do you play, Claire? That would be always cool to run into another pickleball enthusiast. Paulo says, sounds closer to squash to me. Yeah, the guy that put our pickleball group together used to play a lot of squash when he was younger. So I've never actually played it, so I'm not 100% sure. Paulo says, regarding books, what was your inspiration for Children of the Void? After the first book, it reminds me of Firefly. I haven't actually seen Firefly. I think I might be one of the few sci-fi fans that hasn't watched it. But the inspiration for that series was Han Solo goes to the Babylon 5 universe, basically. Then it just sort of snowballed from that basic idea. Art Blaze says Firefly was cool. Yes, I've heard that. I just haven't gotten to see it yet. It's so many good shows, it's hard to get to them all. I watched, what was the one with the guy that got shot through the wormhole that was done by Jim Henson's company? Crap, I'm drawing a blank. Darwin says, what? Watch Firefly. Yes, it's definitely on my to-do list. Claire says, no, just heard of it a week ago. Oh, if you like, it's really good exercise. So if you're into that kind of thing, I think you'd enjoy it if you want to give it a try. Rokar says Farscape. Yes, Farscape. That was it. I watched that. That was a really good one. I enjoyed it anyway. Claire says, where do you get your inspiration from for your books? Everywhere. Everything I read and watch. I watch a lot of anime. That inspires a lot of my stuff. Sometimes you'll get an idea just randomly pop into your head. For the Portal Wars, I kept having a recurring dream that was basically the first 20,000 words of that book. I must have had that dream twice a week for like a month before I finally started writing it. Otto just wouldn't leave me alone. He was determined to have his story told. Rurikar says, Babylon 5 is my favorite TV show of all time across all genres. I was fortunate enough to meet a few of the cast on various conventions. Great people. Yes, I love Babylon 5. That was my one of my favorite sci-fis when I was younger. Babylon 5 was exceptionally good, Artblade says. Yes, it absolutely was. I was watching some old episodes on reruns a few months ago, and the stories are still great, but the special effects definitely look dated now. Darwin says, have you watched the anime called Monster? It's a serious anime. No, I don't believe I've seen that one. Claire says, the universe was interesting for the Portal Wars. Yeah, well, they're all the same universe, but that's a different world. All different worlds in the same fictional universe. Yeah, I plan to do quite a bit more stuff in the Portal Wars world. The trilogy I'm working on now is set there, and I've got ideas for a couple of more spin-offs set in different parts of the world. So, that says Stargate SG-1. Yeah, that was another good one. I think I watched the first 2 seasons of that. It definitely must have inspired my cover designer when he came up with the portals for the Portal War saga, because they look a lot like Stargate portals. Strider says, hi, James. That's actually a cool origin story for the Portal Wars. Nice to know. Yeah, all my stories have different origins. That one was the only one that really came to me in a dream, though. It's always fun when the characters insist that their stories be told. It makes it a lot easier. All I have to do is write down what they want to say. Yes, I know Stargate had a lot of seasons. I have them on Amazon Prime. I just haven't got to them. I generally rather read than watch TV. So, Yeah. And if I do watch TV, it's usually an anime on Crunchyroll. I just started one. I forget the name of it. Something in the Abyss, but it's about this prince who gets teleported away and has to make his way back to his kingdom. It's pretty good. I think I'm 2 episodes in. Diogenes of Snope says, "Have you ever read the Dune Saga?" Yes, I read. I think I've read pretty much all of it. It's on one of the shelves behind me here. I think I've read like 15 or 16 from him and his son. The author's son has written a few of them with Kevin J. Anderson. They're quite good as well. Sharky Sharkum says, "This is funny. I see this today. I just decided to write a story based on a recurring dream that I often have. Random, I know, but funny coincidence. Or is it a coincidence? LOL." Yeah, it's amazing what your mind will conjure up when you're not focused on something else. Liat says, "How do you come up with the names to the places, like the towns and so on?" I go to a website called Fantasy Name Generator, and it'll generate names for different all kinds of things. But I'll usually, like, each area of my worlds are usually based on somewhere real. So, like in the Portal Wars, a lot of them have like German sounding names and or British sounding names, depending on where they are in the country, you know, that it's based on. The series that's getting recorded and narrated now was based on ancient Rome, so I used Roman sounding names for some of those. Claire says, "I hear a lot of similar terminology from different authors. Eric Warren has some interesting books. Have you read any of his works?" I don't believe I have. I'm not familiar with the name Eric Warren. There's so many authors now with indie publishing being so big, it's hard to keep track of everybody. Peter Barnett says, "Have you an email where we can email you?" Yes. There should be a link down below underneath the underneath the video that has my website, and there's a contact form on that. You can just fill that out, and it'll go right to my email, and I'll reply. It's jamesewisher.com, and on the homepage at the bottom, there's a contact form you can use. I actually get quite a few people contacting me through that, or commenting. Some people comment on my blogs, and I can reply to that too. See, we're up to 20 people watching. That's excellent. Glad you could all stop by. We actually did pretty good last week at 4 o'clock. I think there was 26 at the peak. Peter Barnett says, "Thank you. You're welcome." No problem. I always love hearing from you guys, whether it's here or through email. Chatting with the fans or readers or whatever is part of the fun of being a writer. Certainly, it's part of it that I really enjoy. Pablo says, "I have another idea for future streams or perhaps separate chapters. Why don't you tell us about a problem, physical, ethical, moral, your heroes may face, and then we may guess on how they'd act?" Yeah, we can give that a try. Claire says, "My husband and I love your work. We listen to the books each night." Well, that's great. I'm glad I could create something that you guys both enjoyed. Darwin says the audience is growing. Yeah, I'm actually up to 8,500 subscribers. I just broke 8,500 this morning, so that was quite cool. I'm hoping to be at 10,000 by the end of the year. That would just be astonishing, really. Sharky Sharkum says, "There's also random. This is also random, but do you believe that Fey refugees from the Fey homeroom actually exist on Earth?" Do you believe they are real or just mythology and stories? I believe they're just mythology and stories. For somebody who writes science fiction and fantasy, I don't believe in almost any of that stuff. It's all, I think it's all pretty much made up. Diogenes says, congratulations. Thanks very much. Yeah, I was, at the start of the year, I was at 250 subscribers, I think. And now I'm over 8,500. So that's pretty crazy growth for just, less than a year. Claire says, I'm working on getting family and friends to subscribe as well. Well, that's awesome. I very much appreciate it. Everyone's welcome. Paulo says 50 nights left. Yep. The year's coming to a close. We're getting snow here before you know it. I can't say I'm looking forward to it. Not that it matters. It'll come whether I'm looking forward to it or not. Let's see. Pablo's suggestion was for a problem might face, and we can guess how they'd act. Not sure if I can come up with one just off the top of my head. That'll have to be something I work out before the stream, I think. Claire says, great inspiration place is reading Quantum Development. And no more snow, LOL. Yeah. I'm not sure. Quantum Development sounds like something I'd have trouble figuring out. I'm more likely to get frustrated reading that sort of thing than get inspired, I think. Miss Evan Zero says, I've never seen snow. Well, you're not really missing out on much. It's cold, wet, heavy rain, basically. Now, if you like to ski, this neck of the woods can be a lot of fun, but I don't fancy any broken bones, so I don't ski myself. Rural Car says, I think there's some truth to the legends, but not in the way they are shown in fantasy books or TV. For example, the centaur legend may come from a people who were practically one with their horse. Yeah, I forget where it was, but there was some tribe that rode they were small people, and the way they rode their horse was like they were leaning out over the horse's neck, and it almost made them look like a centaur, but I can't remember where I saw that. Julie Slater says, LOL, can you go to that link and see the pic? Which link is that? Adam Fife says, it's forecasted to snow 4 inches in Wyoming today. I'm terribly sorry. Hopefully it won't last long. It's still only October. Mongolians. That's what I was thinking of. Thank you. The Swirling Sea. Welcome. I think I haven't seen your name pop up before during these streams, so it's great to have you. Do you have different series set in the same universe? I can see the Portal Wars and the Aegis of Merlin series being the same universe, 2,000 years apart. All my books are set in the same universe, just on different worlds that are all in different points of development. So, like the Portal Wars is set on a variant Earth. In my universe, every galaxy has one planet that's exactly the same as far as continents and stuff to Earth. So the demon lords are always fighting over them because there's only one in each galaxy. Julie Slater says, I guess the link won't show up in a live stream. Dang it. Let me see. I'm not sure just how that works. But if you post it or email it to me, I'll share it during the next live stream. I'm quite curious to see how the drawing turns out. I'm assuming you got the email I sent you with Axel's description in it. Says, no, I need info now. Still no luck, Julie Schlater. Still not having any luck. Oh, I haven't checked the email. Yeah, I replied to the email you sent me yesterday or day before, I forget. But yeah, Axel really is just your standard ranger looking guy. Camouflage, leather armor, scruffy beard, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's just about all I wrote. Rurokar says, "Oh, that's interesting. So a possible Arcane Lord Otto could have cameos in your other series. Probably not, but anything's possible. I've already established that the portals can open to other worlds, so I guess it's not beyond the realm of possibility. But to do that, he'd have to have 6 or 5 other Arcane Lords to help him, because just one doesn't have enough power to extend a portal that far. So I would say not impossible, but probably not too likely. Of course, I'm pretty sure Otto at this point isn't going to become an Arcane Lord. He might come something else super strong, but he's not willing to give up what's left of his humanity just for that. He kind of decided that at the end of book 7. So yeah. Let's see. Julie Slater says, checked email. Okay, good. Oh, I asked for Anna Maria, so Anna Maria I did. Okay. Yeah, it says immortal, question mark. I'm not sure if Otto will be completely immortal or if he'll just have to keep using the Chamber of Eternity to keep reducing his age. As long as he has that and a supply of prisoners to sacrifice, he'll be functionally immortal. So, yeah. I haven't, like I said, book 8 is still very much nebulous in my mind, so I haven't really decided all that stuff yet. The new series I'm working on, the one set in Colts Land, is a lot different. The main character is actually a girl whose father ends up getting murdered by these evil wizards. So it'll be quite a change of pace from Otto's story. I'm enjoying it though; it's a lot of fun. I particularly enjoy my villains in this series. I won't say too much because I don't want to give anything away. Darwin says he'll find a way to open the portals. Opening the portals, yeah, probably will, but extending them all the way to other galaxies, I'm not so sure. Rurokar says, still interesting to see the possibilities cross your mind, though. Are there liches in that universe? There are, or something similar anyway. Who was it? I'm trying to think. There was someone like that in one of my books who was very similar to a lich, but I can't remember which one. Julie Slater says, that is one thing I wish you would do in your books, is mention every once in a while what those guys all look like. For example, I have more of an idea what Stefan looks like. Yeah. Sometimes I keep the descriptions minimal, just so people can use their imaginations more. But yeah. Darwin says, It's Otto we're talking about. Of course, you'll find a way, right? If he's determined, he probably will. Julie Slater says, since you mentioned the way he looks now and again. Oh yeah, yeah. Liat asks, have I read any books by Kat Ross? I don't believe I have. But like I said, I've read like almost 2,000 novels now, so names and titles kind of smushed together in my brain. But I don't remember that name. Julie Slater. Anywho, I need to check your email. Can you take a look and tell me how you like it so far? Okay, I can try. It's kind of tricky to do when I'm using most of my broadband for the live stream. I won't be able to see the chat either. So I'll take a look after the stream and then just email you and let you know. That way it won't mess up what we're doing here. The Swirling Sea says, when you write, how much do you feel comes from you versus what comes from elsewhere? I.e., the concept of the question of where ideas come from. Does the world inform you, or do you inform the world? Wow, that's a very deep question. I have no idea. My imagination just does what it does, and I try and keep up with it when I'm typing. I'm not sure that there's more than what's in my head. Julie Slater says, if the rest of y'all want to see the pic, it's posted on my channel in the comment thing. Yeah, absolutely. You guys should totally check it out. I'm quite curious to see how it looks myself. I'll be popping over as soon as I finish up the stream. Sharky Sharkum says, do I believe in ghosts? The possibility that somebody can be gone, but their spirit does not move on. No, I don't believe in ghosts either. Like I said, for a fantasy author, I don't actually believe much of the fantasy stuff is real. Rurikar says, I actually love that you keep your descriptions minimal so I get to imagine it myself. And if I talk to someone about it, they may have pictured something entirely different. Yeah, it's just a style choice. I find it when I'm reading, I prefer books with fairly minimal descriptions that move along quickly. So I guess I write that way. The Swirling Sea says, any plans for a Grimdark series? Also, have I read the Malazan books? Yes, I love the Malazan books. They're on a shelf right behind me. Whiskey Jack is one of my favorite characters. As for Grimdark series, I would almost say that the Portal War saga qualifies as Grimdark, but I don't specifically set out usually to say, I'm going to write this particular genre other than a broad, like epic fantasy, urban fantasy kind of thing. Brandon Parker says, have you read Art of the Adept? I have not. Is that nonfiction? It sounds like it might be nonfiction. Yeah. As far as the book is the Malazan books, I really enjoyed those. I read them. I read the last one a few years ago, but yeah, that was a great series. Strider says, what are some of my favorite anime series or movies? Let's see. I like Attack on Titan. Crunchyroll just added one of my favorite series, which is Beyond the Grave, as Gungrave. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. They just added that as they're combining the Funimation stuff with their own stuff. That was a fun series, and I like the Vampire Hunter D movies. The guy that did that, the Vampire Hunter D stories, actually did Demon City Shinjuku. I don't know if you've seen that one, but that's a good one. Sharky Sharkum says, wow, that's funny. I feel like writing a story about a fantasy author that believes in absolutely nothing paranormal, otherworldly. And I don't mean anything bad by that. Yeah. There's something fairly similar in the, what's his name? about the guy who goes he gets dragged to a fantasy world, but he thinks none of it's real, and he ends up doing all these horrible things while he's there. Why can't I think of the name of it? I keep drawing blanks on these series, on these live streams when I'm trying to think of stuff. Adam Feist says might be interesting to see how Otto reacts to a visit from the Rogue Star. Yeah, I suppose. But again, another galaxy, so it'd be a question of how to get him there. Brandon Parker says no, it's a fantasy series by Michael G. Manning. Oh, I'll have to look it up. My to be read list is so long, I'm not sure when I'll get to it. But Diogenes of Snope says, wow, that was surprising. Almost nobody talks about Gungrave. It's super underrated. Yeah, I saw it when it was on TV originally. Forget, it's on Sci-Fi Channel maybe, when they had Saturday Anime. It was a great series. I really enjoyed it. Brandon Heat is such a tragic character. Rurokar says, I didn't mention Code Geass. No, I've seen it. It was great. There's so many I've watched. It's hard to mention all of them. Yeah, no, I'm a Lelouch fan for sure. I watched that originally on Cartoon Network when it aired. I think it was on after Bleach, which was also one I enjoyed. I'm very excited to see 1,000-Year Blood War. That's supposed to be starting, I think, next year. Liat says Otto versus Damien, who's stronger? In a straight up fight, Damien with Lizzie is stronger. He went toe to toe with the Binder in Chains after he fell, who's a fallen archangel. So yeah, on a straight up fight, 1-on-1, Damien would obliterate Otto. Strider says, I haven't seen those except Attack on Titan. We'll definitely check them out. Yeah, I think they're both very good. So, Swirling Sea says 1,000-Year Blood War already started. Oh, I didn't realize that. Do you know what streaming service has it? I'll probably wait till it's finished before I actually start watching it, but I didn't realize it had started. Rurikar says they also made a Lelouch Returns movie, which was surprisingly good and then not ruin everything. Oh, I'll have to hunt that up. I see Crunchyroll has all the Code Geass stuff, so I'll definitely see if I can find that. Ian Creech says, just got back from visiting a friend who's a writer, trying to get him to read your work. Oh, thanks very much. Diogenes says 1,000-Year Blood War arc anime started the beginning of October on Hulu. Ah, cool. I don't actually have a subscription to Hulu, but I'll see if I can. I think I could probably watch it if I put up with the commercials, but I'll probably wait till it's done and then get it for a month and binge it without commercials. That's what I usually do. Darwin Dominguez says, do you like the Gundam series? I like some of them. Some of them are a little goofy. Let me think. What's the one? Oh, there's so many of them. I can't. Iron Blood Orphans was good. I finished watching that last year, I think. The Swirling Sea says, I read the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks. It was phenomenal and one of the best fantasy representations of the Christian religion and its philosophies. Do you explore religion in any books? I don't. I try to keep away from like contemporary, real life religions, but I have, religion in, the fantasy religions. The series that's getting narrated now actually has their religion that's from the story is a fairly important part of the series. Pablo says, your opinion on Rings of Power. I haven't watched it and I don't intend to, so I'm a big Tolkien fan, and from what I've heard, it's just going to depress me to watch that. Ruakar says, I recently rewatched Claymore. I wish they had more episodes. Yes, Claymore was excellent. I enjoyed that very much. Claire's a cool character. Darwin Dominguez says, yeah, I only like the serious one. You should watch the new movies. They're amazing. Oh, the new Gundam movies? I'm not sure what the name of those are. I see The Witch of Mars. Is that what it was? Or The Witch of Mercury or something like that just started streaming on Crunchyroll. But I haven't started watching it yet. I won't watch. I don't generally watch a series until it's finished. That way I can binge the whole thing. I see there's a new series that's just started streaming. Looked like something about ninjas that looks kind of cool. I can't remember the name of it. Brandon Parker says, do you watch Doctor Who? No, I've never watched Doctor Who. I've seen like little snippets of it on YouTube, but I've never actually watched an episode. Yeah, it seems to be kind of hit or miss. Some people, some of the actors who play the main characters seem to be quite popular, and others not so much. So, but yeah, there's some. I don't hardly watch TV at all anymore beyond YouTube and anime. I got rid of my DirecTV service. So, Rokar says, I have a question about your writing process. Do you always map the book series out before you start, or do you sometimes have like one scene in your mind and then create the rest of the story around it? Yeah, I never outline. I just make it up as I go. I usually will have a pretty good idea of how it starts, and then the next chapter builds on what happened previously, and I just keep writing and adding that way. I used to try when I was first getting started. I tried to outline, but I found I couldn't follow the outlines, and my imagination pretended like the story was written once I had an outline and knew what was going to happen. So I just had a hard time following them. So I don't even bother anymore. Darwin Dominguez says the movie Hathaway is on Netflix. Netflix, I think. I wish they'd make more like that one. Hathaway. Oh, is that one of the Mobile Suit Gundam movies? Excuse me for a sec, guys. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Donovan says, yes, it's a Gundam. Highly recommend. Yeah, I'll have to. I don't actually have Netflix at the moment, but I'll have to look it up. Um, I'm trying to remember the name of that of the Gundam series I liked. Had Kira and what was the other guy's name? Oh God, I hate it when I draw a blank like that. Oh well, doesn't matter. Rurikar says, no worries. We had hot beverages and elevator music to keep us entertained. Well, that's good. Gundam Wings. Yes, thank you. I actually should. I should get a little video I can play when I have to wander off for a minute. Swirling Sea says, reading Andrzej Zapasky's Hussite trilogy. I love how it's like a fantasy story and a history lesson all in one. I'm not familiar with that. Diogenes of Snow says, Gundam Wing was awesome. Yes, it was very good. I enjoyed it very much. Some of those series are crazy long, though. I think that one is like 52 episodes or something like that. It's like four. I think it's the equivalent of 4 seasons or something like that. Anyway. Swilling says, "What do you guys think of harems in storytelling? Do you think it can be done in any way that seems believable?" I don't know. I don't know that I've seen it done in a way that's genuinely believable, but you know, somebody told me once they saw in my Aegis of Merlin series they thought it was going to be something like that, and were pleased to see it went a different way. So yeah. Strider says, you told us about trying to follow outlines when writing, but have you tried picking just a central theme question to explore and then adding pieces along the way? I imagine it's difficult. Um, Theme is writing to theme is tricky. Theme is usually something that develops over the course of telling the story rather than something you start out with. At least for me, um, the uh, the theme of a story is often something that you want the people who are reading it to figure out rather than something that you um, just try and build yourself. At least for me, that's how it works. Strider says, or is it a process that can describe the majority of writing? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really not too sure about that. Making Misery so proud. Hi, I just made it. I'm currently reading Darkness Rising and it's excellent. You've ruined other fantasy novels for me because nothing lives up anymore. I love your work. Well, thank you very much. That's incredibly kind. I appreciate it. And thanks so much for stopping in. I'm glad you could make it. The Swirling Sea says, set in 1400 Slavic Europe, pretty good. You get the same impression in the Witcher series where you're getting a fantasy story rooted in European pagan beliefs and practices. I suppose because that's the same guy, right? He wrote both of those series. So I tried. I think I read the first 2 Witcher books, and I had a hard time getting into them. Tell us a little about yourself. Do you have a family, married, kids? Not married, no kids. I do have family. I've got relatives living not too far from me down the road, and more relatives down in Troy area of New York. But no, I'm here, just me at the moment. I'm probably terrible, but I don't actually like kids all that well. The Swirling Sea says all the monsters are really rooted in European mythology, mostly pagan mythology. Yeah, Andrew Zapowski does a really good job with the historical aspects of his stories. I think part of the reason I had trouble getting into the first two Witcher books is because they're really a collections of short stories rather than a whole novel. You could see from the series on Netflix where they borrowed a thing from here and moved it over here and completely messed with the timeline. Rurikar says, I like it when series are long and can slow burn tell their stories. Some of my fave shows take 50 to 70 episodes to tell their stories. C and K dramas. C Chinese and Korean, I'm guessing. I don't really watch those. Making Misery so proud, it says, haha, I don't like kids much either, except my own. Well, I guess takes all kinds, I guess. Julie Slater says, LOL, that shows in your writing. Love that take on kids. Yeah. Everybody has their different tastes and what they like, I guess. Oh yeah, it definitely is unusual. Everybody's usually crazy about the kids in books, except the villains, I suppose. Adam Fye says, is there a backstory to the demon sword that Xavier finds in Death and Honor? There is. I may explore that one day in a novella. There definitely is, although I didn't think it up until a few years after I had published the story. Sharky Sharkum says, do any of your characters ever seem to come to life, similar to how Stephen King has said that it's as if he wrote them into life? I try to make them come alive in their own world. Stephen King, especially like the Gunslinger, is like he brings his characters out of the fictional world and into the real world. It says, I mean things that seem to be more than coincidence. Yeah, not really. I think it's just whatever pops into my head and goes into the story. Rurikar says, yes, Chinese and Korean. Examples, Rise of the Phoenixes has 70 episodes. Princess Wei Young, I think, has 56. Empress Kai has 49, all on Netflix. Yeah. Not really my cup of tea, but Darwin Dominguez says, love the idea of the demon sword. Yeah. I have so many ideas. The real trick is figuring out which one I'm going to write. Making Misery so proud says, I love the way your stories follow the experiences of more than one character. Definitely fall into the story with them. Yeah, it can be tricky to tell the full story from just one point of view. I know a lot of detective stories and stuff do that, but I find, especially for fantasy, that you need to kind of get to know everybody to really appreciate the story, especially the villains. I like to write, and let you get to know the villains and what motivates them and stuff. Darwin Dominguez says, write them all. Yeah, I hope I can, but Making It says, yes, there's an interesting take in Darkness Rising with a demon sword. Oh yeah, Lizzie. Yeah, she's my original demon sword. Oh no, I take that back. I think I did publish Death and Honor before that, but she's definitely a different take on it. She has an origin story. I don't know if you guys have read Lizzie's First Bearer yet, but that's her origin story. The Swirling Scene says, if you had to forget everything you've ever read except one series, which would you keep? No worries if you can't remember the name. One series, wow. Probably the Sword of Shannara series. Just because it had such a big impact on me getting started in writing. Artblade says, FYI, slowly homing in on the end of the stream, 1 hour mark. Yep, it went fast today. I see we still got 22 people watching. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up button, that would be awesome. I see we've only got 4 at the moment. Claire says, I listened to the Rogue Star series and that was great. The characters kind of hit home in a good way. Yeah, that's a fun series. I wish more people would buy copies of the books, but I really enjoyed writing that. Got one more to go to close it out, and then that series will be done. Rokar says, funny thing happened to me once in regards to writing. I started writing fan fiction without posting it, just for me. 5 chapters in, the developers released a DLC, which was 80% similar to my fiction. Wow. That just shows the developers had a good imagination then. Darwin Dominion says, time flies when you're having fun. Yeah, these streams have really turned out to be a lot of fun. I've certainly been enjoying them, and I hope you guys all have as well. It's always great to see familiar faces every Sunday when I log in, as well as new faces popping in for the first time. Making Misery So Proud says, I'm glad I was able to catch it this time. Thank you so much for posting your series on here, and I'll buy copies of the ones I've listened to help. Well, I'm glad you could make it too, and thanks very much for the support. I appreciate it. It's always nice when you can kind of, I'm not sure if this counts as meeting you guys, but it kind of feels like meeting you guys, so that's very cool. Oh, 26 likes. I must not have refreshed my my screen that says how many likes we have. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. We'll be back to 4 o'clock, so that seems switching back and forth seems to be working pretty well. I've got about the same amount of people, but some of them definitely can't make it to the early one. So 28 now. That's great. I got to figure out how I can follow those live because I'm watching it on my iPad and it only shows 4. So thanks you guys for letting me know. Shari says it's even cooler for us to speak with an author whose book we love. Well, that's great. I'm glad you're all having a good time. Baldrian 22 says, I got a question. Okay, let her rip. That'll probably be our last one since we've only got a minute and a half to go. Rorcar says, what time is it now? So I can convert to my time zone. Right now it's 1 o'clock Eastern time, and next Sunday stream will be 4 o'clock Eastern time. We started at noon today, noon Eastern time. So that might be a little bit too late for you. I'm not sure. That would probably be, let's see, 17, 11 o'clock. I'm bad at math. Yeah, that's pretty late at night. Baldrian Trenches says, are you planning to do any more books about the main person in the Portal War saga? I'm kicking around an idea for the 8th book. I haven't decided 100% yet, but it's definitely thinking about it. I'm also working on a spin-off trilogy set in another part of that world right now. So Freak Hio says, I love your dynamics. Thank you. Shredding says, thank you for all your hard work and all your books. I can never show my gratitude, but know you're appreciated. Well, I appreciate that. So thank you very much. Brandon Parker says it's 4 a.m. in Australia. Wow, you got up really early. I appreciate that. Rurikar says that'd be 10 to 11, so still doable. Very good. I look forward to seeing you then. Sharky Shark says, anyhow, I got to go right now, but I'm a big fan. Love your work. Thanks. Yep, I'm going to be closing the stream down in just a sec. So Thanks everyone that stopped by. It's great to see you. Have a great day, and I'll see you next Sunday.